In the middle of Great Russell Street, you can take a trip back in time through 2 million years of history, culture, and art, guided by archaeology and ethnography. The British Museum is the second most visited museum in Europe, with over 5 million people a year taking this time-traveling trip. Inside the museum's walls, you can discover prehistoric artifacts and relics from Roman Britain. There is a wonderful collection of mummies and pharaonic treasures from Egypt, throughout displays of Greek and Roman art, as well as the finest Oriental porcelain and shank bronzes from Asia. On the lower floor, there are sculptures, textiles, and iconography from Africa. There is no period or corner of the planet which is not represented in the museum's vast collection. The first view we get of the British Museum is of its enormous neoclassical facade and the large columns supporting the imposing pediment. From the outside, it is difficult to discern much of the buildings that make up the museum, the galleries and exhibition halls, so we need to go to take a look inside. As soon as you do, you'll be surprised with the majesty and radiance of the Queen Elizabeth II Great Court. Designed by Sir Norman Foster, this is the largest covered courtyard in Europe, and until a few years ago, it was home to the British Library. Nowadays, the only part of the library that remains here is a small reading room. This is the starting point of our journey through the exhibitions, bookstores, cafes, restaurants, unique gift stores, and an educational center that make up the museum. The British Museum really is a universe within itself. One of the greatest treasures in this universe is the Elgin marbles, the friezes and sculptures which were taken from the Parthenon pediment and which have been on permanent display to the public free of charge since 1817. These works, brought to London by Lord Elgin and sculpted in the 5th century before Christ under the direction of Phidias, are a good example of why we still marvel at classical art today. They were originally designed to be viewed mounted on a wall at a certain height, and it is surprising how well they cope with the great change in perspective from where we now see them. The attention to detail, even in the parts which were originally hidden from view, is a sign of how the Greek sculptors put a great deal of care into their work, so as to please a much more demanding observer, the goddess Athena.